Hey YouTube, I wanted to do an updated World of Nintendo tour before I have to go back to work after a nice long vacation. I'm actually going to narrate it this time because a few things have changed since my last video and because a few people have asked for it. So thanks for your interest. Here we go! Okay, here's a shot of the whole room. It's actually a loft, which is an elevated room that's open on one side. So it just opens up into the entryway there. Okay, well the loft itself is kind of small, so it's gone through several changes to accommodate the growing collection throughout the years. So I'll just take you through wall by wall and comment on what I think is of any interest. First thing you'll see are the posters that I did have professionally framed, and I really enjoy those. From left to right, we've got an NES poster that was packaged in with the console a little bit later on in its life cycle. In the middle, the largest poster I have is another one that's packaged with the NES console more towards the beginning of its life cycle. And then the same thing goes with the Super NES poster you see over here. This one was packaged in with the console at launch. So coming back over to the left side of the wall here, got the lamp, which has some nice shelves for storage. See some merchandise here. I'm not really a merchandise guy. I more collect the systems and games, but you'll see a few bits of merchandise as we go through the loft here. Next thing of most importance on this wall are the game shelves, and with this new configuration of game shelves that I have, I can finally have one shelf per game system, at least for now. And I'm not going to go through and pull out every single game I have. No offense to anybody who's ever done this, but those videos where somebody pulls out every single game on their shelf and mentions the title and goes on to the next, I usually don't make it through those videos to the end. So I'm not going to do that. If you are interested to know exactly what games that I have in my catalog, you can always check out thebackloggery.com, or I think it's just backloggery.com/Yoi, which is my username. I'll put that up on the screen for you, and you can always see what's going on with my collection and what I have in it. So what you're taking a look at now is my NES shelf in alphabetical order except for the top two shelves, which are the first 30 black box games. Those are the first games that were released for the NES in North America. Moving on to the right, the Super Nintendo games, Super NES. With these shelves I can get them on their side and actually see the side labels, which I really appreciate. Same goes with the N64 games. I have them stored differently, mainly because the collection is the smallest that I have, so I have the space to do it. And because, as everybody knows, they do not have end labels. So with the labels exposed the way they are, it's easy to see what game is where on the shelf. Moving over, next in chronological order, of course, is the Gamecube. And of course, Wii. Then after the consoles comes my handheld games. I've got my original Game Boy games in these little containers here. Easy to flip through them and find the game that you're looking for, in alphabetical order, of course. Next shelf are my Virtual Boy games and a couple of Game Boy Advance games that don't fit in a traditional case, like Yoshi, Topsy-Turvy, and WarioWare Twisted. And the last of the handheld games are my Game Boy Advance games. I don't have too many. Each of these cases holds 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 2 is 12. Times 3, you can do the math on that. Then Nintendo DS games, which are spilling over to the next shelf. And then once I have the need, I'll put more shelves in and continue on. Moving over, these are the handheld systems that I have that I use. Once the handheld has been out for a while and new colors come out, I'll usually buy another one with a color that I like better. And then that one becomes the one that I keep in really good shape and doesn't put up with the abuse of being used. And then the Mario chess in the aluminum tin. Which it's either tin or aluminum. That sounds contradictory. Oh well. It's a metal case. And moving over here, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, or Ocarina of Time, however you prefer to pronounce it. This is above my shelf of imports. Within the last 2 years, I've gotten into collecting some imports. I don't have a lot. On top, you see the box set for Okamiden for the Nintendo DS that was only released in Japan. Top shelf are Famicom and Famicom Disk System games. Next two shelves, Super Famicom games, N64 games, and N64DD games, and then Gamecube and Wii games, as well as a couple of DS games that are imports. So again, I'm not going to tell you what they are. If you're interested, check out backloggery.com/yoy, and you can take a look at my collection. Move over to the other side of the window here. Okay, over in this corner here, I'm going to see two posters, two frame posters. The one on the left is obviously Metroid, but the cool thing about that is, believe it or not, that's actually a Walmart ad. I guess Walmart decided to give you a promo poster. On the other side was just a bunch of the GameCube things that they had on sale at the time. But I thought that was a cool frameable poster, so I got it framed. And then the other poster here opposite it is the Super Mario Galaxy promo poster, which itself is pretty cool because it's glossy and it has a whole bunch of little sparkly, glittery things that if the light catches it the right way, it looks pretty cool. And in the middle of those, you got the Nintendo Power promo videos that were either mailed to your house or you could pick them up for free in stores, just advertising the games they had on sale at the time. Blu-ray player, modern technology, and then not so modern technology is my tuner, which is going on about 20 years old, but I'm going to keep it around as long as it keeps working. And then these shelves here, just some promotional items, some Club Nintendo rewards, and then this obviously is my Nintendo Power collection, magazines that are separated by year, and they just continue over in chronological order to the other side. And then as the collection grows, I'll move things around and make room as needed. But for now, this is where I've got my soundtracks at. Nintendo-related soundtracks. And on the other side are all just the little bonus things from Nintendo Power and promotional materials and things that have been released throughout the years. Alright, on to the consoles. Okay, this right here is the console shelf. It's also in the drawers. I've got controllers and other peripherals and things like that. Starting from left to right, these are the handhelds. I'm not going to go through and say which each one is, because I already have a separate handheld video that does that. On the right hand side here, these are all my Japanese consoles. And yes, everything Japanese, North American, which is down here, it's all hooked up and currently working. And I do that with the use of, well, apparently at the moment it's 4 switchers. Got a switch on the right here between Japanese and US consoles. And then on the bottom here, this is for the US consoles, and they're labeled by name. Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Nintendo, N64, and Gamecube. And then the Japanese ones follow. Family Computer, Super Famicom, Nintendo 64, and Gamecube. The switch box up here is just for Wii, US and Japanese, because the Wii has component output. The rest of the systems are composite, except for Gamecube. I do have my US Gamecube hooked up with the component video cable to get the best picture, and it looks great playing Game Boy Advance games on the Game Boy player with that. So if you can do that, I recommend it. But other than that, everything is hooked up via composite video or RF. Needs an RF switch. For example, the original Famicom, it's only got RF out, so that's your only choice there. Same with the NES2. It only has RF out, but everything else has composite video. So Japanese systems got the Family Computer, the original and the redesign up top there. This original has the disk system, which a lot of you have probably heard about on other channels and through other videos. Super Famicom follows the original and the redesign, and the Super Famicom is sitting on top of the Satellaview add-on, which I believe was a modem type of thing. It would hook up during certain times of day, and you could play games that were only available on it, and they had, I believe it was some sort of broadcast going on where a voice would come through your speakers and either tell a story or something that coincided with the game. And you could also download stock information and weather and all that type of stuff. All those little goodies that are only available in Japan. N64 sitting on top of the 64DD disc add-on. I've got a few games for that, but they're all in Japanese, so I can't play those. Gamecube, the Spice color sitting on top of a Spice Game Boy player. And then the red 25th anniversary Super Mario Wii. And then up above here is the TV Game 6, one of the first dedicated Nintendo game consoles. I have a video about that too if you want to check that out. So then down below, just the typical US releases, the NES and the NES 2, Super NES and Super NES 2, N64, GameCube with the component video hookup, and the Wii. And then I recently hung the TV on the wall instead of using the stand, so making room for the Wii U and whatever else comes out.